So we wanted to make sure that our voices are heard, and especially on a Black Friday. Our taxes are currently being used to fund the genocide that's happening in Gaza, and we're calling it no more. We're not participating in Black Friday sales. We're letting folks know which big companies like Nike, like Ralph Lauren, like Starbucks that do support Israel's apartheid regime, and we will no longer be complicit.
So what will be the overall today? Is it just going to be, the
demanding for a
speaking out
permanent ceasefire. You know, the Israeli government stated that a ceasefire was supposed to start at 7 a.m. this morning in Gaza. And what happened post 7 a.m.? They were still bombing and they were still killing people. So we demand one immediate ceasefire and a permanent ceasefire so that lives can be saved, so that bombs are not targeting hospitals and our journalists. There's been over 45 journalists killed in Gaza. The largest number of journalists have been killed in Gaza.
They say that, some of them say that this didn't actually happen, that there was no slaughter, that Hamas did not slaughter Jews at this event. Do you believe that this happened, or?
Well, I think the better question should be what happened before the 7th of October. People don't talk about what happened before the 7th of October. How many years of occupation, how many years of open air prison in Gaza. I think those are the things that we don't talk about. We focus on one date. So like previous seasons of that occurrence didn't happen. Do those lives not matter? Do those innocent children not matter? The women? I work in reproductive justice, and as a woman, as an individual that works on protecting rights for all individuals, LGBTQ plus, are any marginalized group. I believe that we have to look at context and history from a full view, not from one date.
And do you believe that? I mean, obviously you don't condone violence, right?
Never.
My religion
teaches me not to. Yes.
Right. So, do you believe that Hamas is a terror organization?
Again, I want to reiterate this. Hamas, for me, I don't talk about Hamas. I don't know much about Hamas, right? So for me, what's important is the history and historic aspects. So when we talk about what happened, we should not be focusing on October 7th alone, right? Or what happened in the last 45 days alone, which obviously you haven't asked me about that. How many children were killed after the 7th of October? How many innocents? How many hospitals? How many journalists? This is all protected by International Criminal Court, and these things have been broken. So war crimes have been committed, but no one's talking about that.
But do you believe, and I'm just going to single out Hamas, I don't want to say the Palestinian people, right? Do you believe that Hamas is using their own people or anyone as shields, and that's why
this is happening? As a journalist, this is what I want to ask you. As a journalist, when you say things like that, do you have proof of that? Is there any proof that we can actually indicate to that? There is proof, right, that there was no Hamas in the hospitals. There was no Hamas at the UN schools that they bombed, right? So for me, it's like when you say, as a journalist, statements like that, what proof do we actually have? But we also have debunked proof media, such as yourselves, that have used and stated things that were later not found to be true. And major media news sources have had to actually come back and say that was not right.